Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This video is an early look at set 6.5, which is on the public beta environment, the PBE. This game is going to be taken from one of the first couple days of playing on the PBE. I think it was the third day on the PBE after the set 6.5 was released, so a couple days into that. This early on, the PBE changes constantly. It's changing after, like, there's new patches basically every single day, changing things around. So none of the numbers in this video are likely to last over to the live version of the game. What's strong and what's weak on the PBE is not necessarily going to translate into what the set is like when it comes out. But I wanted to have a chance to test out some games. I've been able to do a number of different games over the last couple days since this first appeared on PBE. And just a chance to show some of the new champions, some of the new traits, put some content up on the YouTube channel so people can go ahead and take a look at this. Another fun thing about the PBE is you get basically infinite riot points to spend, so I can go ahead and use some of the expensive arenas that I wouldn't typically use in a normal game. Alright, so here we are on one of the Freljord arenas. I got a Darius with a belt off the initial carousel, and I have gotten a Lucian as a drop. Although I'm going to sell him here in order to get money to buy up the rest of the bench. Lucian is not a champion that I'm going to be playing in this video, but he has the Hex Tech and Twin Shot traits. And I actually get more champions here, and I even get a 2-star brand, which is kind of interesting that I managed to hit that right away. So you will be seeing some different champions throughout the video. I definitely will not have a chance to cover all of the new champions, but I'll try to talk about the ones I do hit. Okay, so I get the choice of a couple augments here. Treasure Trove 3, it's a prismatic one, by the way. Treasure Trove 3 is kind of like getting Windfall in the live version of the game. It gives you extra loot, extra gold, potentially extra items. Radiant Relics will give you a Radiant Armory, so it's kind of like the Orin Portable Forge. I didn't really want either of those options. I've never liked kind of those options. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Clockwork Soul. And the main reason why I take Clockwork Soul is just so I can get I believe it comes with 8 gold. So that's like getting a mini Windfall, plus also getting the ability to have Clockwork in the game at all points in time. And right now I'm just kind of struggling with my board. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do here. I've gotten a lot of units, so I actually got a ridiculous amount of gold here. Like, it appears as though I have a 2-item start, which means I've gotten extra gold, plus I got the 8 gold from the Clockwork Soul. So, like, look at me, I'm at 18 gold here. And I think I remember to pre-level. Yeah, I managed to get the pre-level off just in time so I can hit level 4. So I'm seeing my board here, and I was like, this is still very early, and I don't have a great sense about what I necessarily want to play, but I can have Bodyguard for frontline. I'll just sell the Poppy, so I can go ahead and play that. And I wanted to go ahead and test playing a Syndicate game in this particular playthrough. I've been trying to test out some different builds here just for fun. And I've kind of got some Debonair units, but I also have this Brand. And as it turns out, Brand is a really good item holder for the carry unit in a Syndicate team comp, which is now Ari. So yeah, a lot of these, so this set is very, very different from the previous set. This is not like set 5, where the mid-set update just made like minor tinkering around the edges. This is like a completely different set. It does not play very much like the previous set at all. Even the traits that have stuck around mostly have shifted around pretty significantly. There are an awful lot of changes in this. So Syndicates, known for playing into Shaco and Akali. Syndicates was known for being an assassin-based team composition. It is not anymore. There are no assassins associated with Syndicate anymore, so it just plays out very, very differently. Alright, what do I have in the game right now? Well, I've got Clockwork. Clockwork is unchanged. Bodyguard is unchanged. Arcanist is unchanged, but I'm 2 out of 3 on Debonair, and I'm going to be planning to play into Syndicate later on. Right now, I am trying to check what some of the other prismatic augments in the lobby are, because everyone has picked up a prismatic, and these are some of the most powerful ones. I am helpfully highlighting some of these in the video. One person has gotten a Debonair, I don't know what to call it, the thing that gives out 2 Debonair emblems, so they will have extra ranks of the Debonair trait, which I do not have in right now, but I would definitely not mind getting that in, because that would be very helpful for my Debonair units, which are Brand and Leona at the moment. I only got 2 items on this start. Remember, I'm very rich. I have 18 gold on level 4. I'm very, very rich, but I do not have much in the way of items, so I went ahead and made use of the Sunfire Cape just so I could get that into play. And I will pick up the Darius here, and I can pre-level, and I'm still over 20 gold, so this is pretty wacky. Alright, so as far as the Debonair trait goes, this trait is very similar to the Warlord trait from back in set 4 from Fates, in the sense that having extra Debonair units in provides additional health to all the Debonair units and also extra ability power, which I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, is what Warlord provided. So I'm not going to read the numbers, but like at each extra rank in Debonair provides additional health and also provides additional ability power for all of the Debonair units. I'm also up against this person, Gamiola, who is really noteworthy. They have gotten a very unique prismatic augment that awards a Radiant Zephyr to the team, which, you know, lets them take somebody out of the fight in each round, and also provides 20% attack speed to everyone on their team. But the real benefit is you get to see who you're going to fight in every single round. So if you have that particular augment, you can see who you're going to fight in each round ahead of time. So you know who you're going to fight, and you have a Radiant Zephyr to place, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, keep an eye out if someone has that. If they're scouting your board, you're probably going to hit them next. Alright, now for here, I need to get some additional ability power items because I'm planning on playing into Ari long term. I considered taking the tier, but there were two reasons not to do that. Number one, the tier was on a 1 gold champ in Darius. Number two, if I had taken the tier, I have 2 out of 3 Dariuses. It would have combined into Darius 2-star and put the tier on him, which is not going to be helpful. So since I can't get a tier to make a future blue buff, I decide I will take a rod instead. And that'll be something good down the line. Alright, so I have found the Talon, and this is great because now I have the Debonair trait in play. So that's going to give extra health to Brand and Leona and Talon, and they're going to also get extra ability power, though that's only really relevant for Brand. Now, having Debonair units in play also opens up the opportunity to have what is called the Debonair VIP unit, which is essentially a version of the Chosen unit from coming back from set 4. This only applies to the Debonair trait, and it does not provide you a 2-star version of the unit, so it's not like you get a 2-star version of the unit, the way the Chosen units were in set 4. But the Debonair VIP units do have some additional bonus that's beyond what the unit normally has. For Brand, it's that he tosses 2 fireballs at once instead of 1. So I do not have a VIP unit in for Debonair right now. It shows up, it has like its own specific little graphical indicator on the interface. But you need to have the Debonair trait in play for the VIP bonus to mean anything. And we should see that pop up here sooner or later. So I've got Debonair in play. I have the opportunity to make use of a Debonair VIP, but that will not do anything until I actually find a VIP unit. And because I already have Brand 2-star, if I were to find a Brand VIP, I'd have to sell and then remake Brand 2-star if I wanted to take advantage of that. So that's probably not going to happen because I'm not expecting to sell and remake Brand. In addition to that, you also can only have one Debonair VIP in effect at a time. Just like with the Chosen mechanic from set 4, if you have a VIP on your board or on your bench, you cannot get another one in the shop. So you can only have one at a time. It actually means that if you have like an early game Debonair VIP, like if you have a Brand VIP, late in the game, it can be worthwhile to get some additional copies of the same unit, stash them on your bench, and then sell them when you're getting ready to roll down later on in the game. Like if you're doing a level 8 roll down, it can be useful just to sell the VIP on your board so that you can find a VIP of a better unit in the shop. Like there we go. See, there's a Debonair version of or a VIP version of Leona. So I was like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and pick that up. No reason not to pick that up here. So I will go ahead and play that. And now Leona has her VIP bonus in play because I have the Debonair trait active. And you can see she's kind of glowing with like a green aura. She does not have an especially powerful Debonair ability. She gets extra health regen for every unit attacking her. I think it's like 15 HP per second per unit attacking her. A little bit like the Shadow Gargoyle Stoneplate from set 5, but it's not especially great. It's kind of mediocre. It's better than nothing, but like Brand's double fireball is perceived as being much better. All right, now here I get a nice drop. I see a Syndra pop out of that orb, and that's great because now I can replace Talon, who's not really doing much of anything, with the Syndra while still keeping the Debonair benefit in play. And by the way, then I just hit Syndra 2 stars. I was like, all right, okay, works for me. So now I also have the possibility to level to level 6, and then I can put Syndra in, or not Syndra, Zyra in, who will make Scholar trait. Now here's one other thing that's changed about this particular new set, is there's now a little indicator showing who you are going to face in the upcoming rounds. This is basically the way the matchmaking has always worked. There's been third-party programs that will do this for you at the moment, but Riot is integrating it directly into the client. So there's a little cross-sword icon showing who you can face in the next round, and in normal play that you always have the chance to face 3 other teams. 3 of like the 7 opponents are what you normally have the chance to face, and it is random which one of them you face. So in this particular moment, it was actually pretty significant that I knew which of the 3 people I was going to face, because I looked at those other teams and I was like, I think I can beat all of them, so I don't need to level to 6 here, whereas I definitely would have leveled to 6 otherwise, to try and preserve my kind of mini winning streak. But I was, like I said, I looked at who I was going to face. I thought I was stronger than all their boards, so I relied on that knowledge, did not level to level 6 early, and I got to have my cake and eat it too. So it's very, very significant to keep an eye on who you're likely to face. In this lobby, there's one person who's playing Assassins. It's that person right there. And so I really need to keep an eye out for when that assassin-based team is when I can hit. And look, sure enough, here it is. This is that assassin-based team. I should have done a better job of repositioning. I do have the Zyra, though, who is really good against assassins. She just picks up that Kha'Zix, who is now the most expensive assassin, mutant assassin, 4-cost unit. Just keeps picking them up and tossing them out of the way. The problem is the mutant ability in this game is Darkstar, which is the ability that means mutants get more AD and AP every time one of them dies. And so, yeah, with the early Bloodthirster to keep healing, and the fact that Kha'Zix keeps getting additional AD every time one of the other mutants dies, that is not quite enough to win, even though Syndra does a really nice job of just picking those units up and, you know, tossing them out of the way, but it's not enough. Here we have some other additional new augments. There is one for Hextech champions. That's not going to be useful to me because I'm not playing the Hextech trait. I can get a Scholar Heart, which is kind of interesting, but I didn't think I was going to play into 4 Scholar in this game. Like, I would have to play another Scholar unit, and that might be good long term, but like I already have 2 Scholar, and I wasn't really planning on going to 4 Scholar. So I went for this Disintegrator. Your attacks do a percentage of the target's max HP. I don't have a good sense for how good this is as an ability. Like, I honestly just don't really know if this is a useful ability or not. But I wanted to give it a try, and it felt reasonably good. It's one of those things where it's hard to get a sense for how much it's actually helping you in the game. So I took this. I don't know if Disintegrator is good, bad, somewhere in between. It was a little bit hard to tell, but I didn't love my other options. I really would have liked something that added to Syndicate or added to Debonair. There's some very nice benefits that go along with those traits. Once again, I'm trying to keep an eye out for those people that I can hit. It looks like I hit the person who has the most health in the lobby. This is a player who took a Prismatic Augment that just gave them extra health. Just a flat 35 extra HP. One of the interesting things about that, though, is it takes your HP up to 135 instead of 100, at least if you take it at the start of the game. Well, that means you're going to be picking last on all the early carousels, so I don't know how good that actually is, in the sense that you've just guaranteed you're now going to be last pick on all of the early carousels. But having 35 extra health certainly is not bad. It's nice to have the extra health. It's pretty similar to the Metabolic Boost Augment, which I don't know if that's still around. I'm not sure if that was removed or not. But just, you know, an injection of 35 extra health is certainly not bad. It certainly makes it a lot easier for you to get a top 4 finish, if maybe not necessarily do a whole lot to make it so you'll win the lobby. Okay, I have second pick on Carousel. I had followed up my win streak with a little mini losing streak here. And this was not so bad. I didn't really mind this because it allowed me to get the second pick on Carousel. I'm still in great shape on health. 78 HP is perfectly fine to be at this stage of the game. My economy is in good shape, and it allows me to take a tier off the Carousel for a blue buff, which Brand uses really well. It also goes on a 3 gold champ, so let's go ahead and combine this. We're going to put it on Brand, and this is going to be intended for RA's use later on. Brand, again, pretty similar to what you saw in set 5. He has very low mana costs. He only has a mana cost of 20. His Fireball no longer is a damage over time effect, though. It's a flat damage, because he is a 1-cost unit and not a 2-cost unit, the way he was in set 5. So I went ahead and leveled a little bit early there. I had enough money that I wanted to go to level 7, and oh, look who I'm up against. It's Gamiola again. Gamiola has that augment that lets him see who he's going to fight in the next round, and wisely puts the blue buff, or excuse me, puts the Radiant Zephyr onto Brand, because Brand is kind of my carry at the moment for what it's worth. However, by going to level 7, I was able to get Syndicate trait in play, and that actually did increase my damage by a good bit. Syndicate, of course, makes Darius more tanky, gives him the extra resistances, and also provides the extra Spell Vamp, or Omni Vamp, I think it's officially called, because you can heal off physical and magic damage.
Rally to me.
And I did that by putting in a new unit, who I should talk briefly about. This is Ashe. Ashe is a Sniper plus Syndicate, a combination that, of course, did not exist in the previous game. So she is kind of the early game carry for Syndicate. The problem with that, though, is, you know, the late game carry for Syndicate is Ahri, and Ahri needs to have AP itemization. So yeah, Ashe, kind of in an awkward position, just because she's a unit that is not really going to hold items well for the late game Syndicate carries. That said, she can hold items well for other late game carries, because she makes good use of AD items. It seems like she could be a decent item holder for, like, Jhin, if you happen to hit, like, Ashe 2-star early on. You know, she's a sniper, so she can hold sniper items pretty well. So I have a feeling that she'll be a decent item holder. She's probably not someone who's a late game part of your board, unless you plan on 3-starring her, which actually a couple people have been doing, and it seems like it's pretty strong on the PBE right now, if you can hit the 3-star Ashe early on. So here, I'm like looking over here. By the way, Draven's back. If you're unfamiliar with this, Draven has the Debonair trait. He has his abilities the same as it was in earlier sets. He's popped up in a couple different sets now. But he is also a Debonair unit, and he was pretty overtuned. Actually, Debonair was extremely overpowered when it came out on the first day of the PBE. It has been nerfed, has already been nerfed pretty severely, and it may need more nerfs because it still feels pretty strong at the moment. Also, by the way, note that Vi is now a 4-cost unit. She's no longer a 2-cost unit, now she's a 4-cost unit for whatever reason. She is now one of the top bruisers, and we'll see what people are able to make use of her. She has some really good traits. Enforcer, she still has Enforcer plus Bruiser, and unlike in base set 6, you now no longer need to play her with Jinx. You actually are now penalized if you play her with Jinx. So they kind of have to not be in the same team composition, which is kind of weird. Anyway, I'm going ahead and doing some scouting here, trying to see where people are playing things. I didn't get exactly the items that I wanted from that last minion round. The rod was not bad, because I can always make a death cap with that, although I'm holding it on the bench right now to see if I have some other options. By the way, another great Syndra ult. Obviously, Syndra's back from set 5. She's really good at picking up and tossing people who try to go into the backlines. So the rod's good, the bow not so much. I don't know what I'm going to do with this bow right now. I legitimately have no idea what I'm going to do with the bow. But, you know, I'm on another modest win streak. I'm feeling pretty good about my current situation in the game. So I'll just keep going. By the way, I finally get a replacement Arcanist for that 1-star version of... what was it? Of Swain. Swain is no longer Imperial because Imperial was removed from the game. He's now Hex Tech. So I'm finally able to get a better Arcanist to slot in there. I'm not planning on running a ton of Arcanists, and although we're still super early in the set and a lot of this could change, a lot of this might be wrong, I don't think that Ahri really wants to run a ton of Arcanists. Her base damage on her ability is fairly low, and I'm going to talk more about her ability works in a minute, but the base damage on her ability is pretty low, so she actually does better by stalling out fights and getting a lot of casts off, as opposed to being like Lux, who was a burst caster in the previous set. Okay, this is another fight where scouting pays off. I was looking at who I was up against. I saw that I could potentially hit the assassin player. This person, Marine something, who is the only person playing assassins in the lobby. Saw that that was a comp I could hit. I slid Brand and most of my backline units over to the right-hand side, and I was able to dodge the assassins as a result. So that was scouting for the win. I finally find another Zyra, so I'm going to go ahead and play that. Or excuse me, put that on my bench. And then I decide that at level 8, I will go ahead and toss in Senna. So Senna is the replacement for Taric. She has exactly the same traits as Taric. She is Enchanter plus Socialite, but she works in a fundamentally different way from Taric, whereas Taric was kind of like a frontline tank, or reasonably tanky unit, who, you know, would then heal himself and another unit. Senna is, of course, like Senna in normal League of Legends. She's like a ranged AD carry, and she, you know, fires off her ultimate the same way she does in Standard League. And I believe it heals units that are in the beam. I'd have to double check exactly how that works, but I believe that she heals units that are in the beam. So, you know, has the same traits as Taric, but gameplay style and itemization is noticeably different. Still, Enchanter plus Socialite is always going to be a nice combo, so I expect that she will be heavily played in this set because she's going to fit into an awful lot of team compositions. I'm actually looking for Morgana, who is another Syndicate unit. I've been trying to find her. She hasn't shown up the entire game, so sooner or later, hopefully she'll show up, and then I'll be able to build her into my team comp. I'm planning on running 5 Syndicate in this game. I was also planning on dropping Debonair long term. I didn't really think that I'd want to run Debonair. I thought that I'd play 5 Syndicate, and I would drop Debonair when I dropped Brand. That was kind of what I was thinking here. Alright, so I am last pick on the carousel, feeling pretty good. I'm the person on the longest win streak. I decide that I'll go ahead and take this tier, and I thought the tier could be useful potentially for an Archangel staff. I wouldn't mind that. I have the components to make that, but I decided I'd wait and see what I could get. And now it's time to roll. And this is still early in the set, so I am not a fast roller right now because I need to look at the portrait art because it's all very new. But I do find an Ahri, so I decide, okay, I'll go ahead and play that. And then, oh, hello. Hello. I've just found a Zeri, who is the top unit in the Debonair comp. She is a 5-cost unit. So as soon as I see this, I was like, okay, let's not drop Debonair. We'll just keep Debonair in permanently, and we'll play Zeri instead, because Zeri is Debonair plus Sniper, and that will actually combine together with the Ashe, which I was planning on dropping, but you know what? I'll just keep the Ashe in here, and I'll keep the Zeri in here, and now I've got dual carries in the form of the Ahri, who I've been itemizing throughout the game thus far, and also in the Zeri, who I have just picked up. So I'll talk a little bit more about both of these two, but we have one more augment here. I see another Scholar Crest. I was like, oh man, I wish I'd taken the previous Scholar. But since I didn't take the previous one, I decide I won't take this one either. And yeah, so there we go. Unfortunately, well, I do find a Morg, which is nice. Morg's traits are Syndicate plus Enchanter. So she will go in to make 5 Syndicate, and now I'd love to get another Enchanter into this comp somehow, but I don't see an easy way to do that. Now, oh yeah, now Morg shows up. Yeah, now Morg just appears. So you see me pick up the Leona and sell it. What I really should have done was I should have rebuilt Leona on my bench and then sold when I remade a 2-star Leona, because that would allow me to potentially find a VIP version of Zeri, which will not show up in the shop until I manage to... I can't get a VIP version of Zeri because I have a VIP Leona in here. So I should have tried to rebuild Leona on my bench. Leona is not coming out of this comp because she makes Bodyguard plus Debonair. But if I made another 2-star version of her on the bench, I could sell, and then that would allow the possibility of Debonair Zeri popping up in the shop. So I'm up against Gamiola. I should have been repositioning. I should have been paying more attention. And wait, what? Wait, he has a... Wait, what? This person has a 2-star... Has a 2-star, Victor? I was like, wait, what? 2-star Victor? With Shojin and Jeweled Gauntlet? I was like, wait, what? How do you have a 2-star Victor already? So, I mean, that's not good. No wonder this person was win streaking. So, yeah, it was less than great that Zeri got Zephyred out of the fight with that Radiant Zephyr, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. I wasn't going to win that round. Let's just be honest. Normally, what I would look to do in a Syndicate comp is I would look to play Braum plus Darius for frontline, and I would not play Ashe, but because I've got the Zeri in here, I decide I will play the Ashe, and I'm just going to replace Darius with Braum as soon as I can find him. So that's the hope right there, and I'm waiting to see what my last items are here. And yeah, we'll just try to go from there. I don't love the items that I've gotten here, but there's some decent stuff here. I see that... By the way, I've also made Renata, who's one of the new scholars, but I end up not playing her in this video, so I'll talk about her another time. Again, in retrospect, I wish I'd rebuilt the Leona, but again, I'm still very new to this, still trying to figure out how the whole VIP thing works. I definitely could have rebuilt Leona and gotten the chance to find VIP Zeri. But as I said, I'll learn more about this as the set goes on. I'm basically rolling here to try to 2-star the Ahri and to 2-star the Braum because I'm very close on both of them. So I'm looking at the items here. I don't really have defensive items, which is a little bad. I kind of wish I had more defensive stuff here. But I can still make some good stuff. I'll go ahead and make the Morellos on Ahri. I'm going to go ahead and make a Gunblade on Ahri, which I actually think is a pretty decent item on her. Time will tell. And then I use the leftover sword and the cloak to make a Bloodthirster, which is not a particularly good item on Zeri. Zeri actually does mostly magic damage, so she doesn't use AD items particularly well. So I would have preferred a different item there, but you know, it is what it is. And I'm just if I could just hit like one more Ahri, which by the way, like no one in this lobby is playing, so I've had really good luck in finding Zeri, but poor luck in finding Ahri. If I could just find that, I would pretty much decide to go to level 9. But when I hit the 2-star Braum, I think I decided that this is good enough. And I think I decided to go to level 9 from here. Because I need to try to find some way to deal with that player Gamiola. I don't know if I'll be able to find anything. He's on 8 or 7 Arcanists now, presumably going to 8 Arcanists at level 9. And I don't know if I can deal with a Victor 2-star that has that much AP. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so let's talk about how Ahri's ultimate works, or how her ability works in this game. So Ahri is the opposite of Lux from the first part of this set. Lux was a burst mage. Lux's whole goal was to build the Jeweled Gauntlet, the Infinity Edge, have that blue buff, and just pop the back line. Ah, and there we go. That's a marvelous shot. So now we're clear to go to level 9. So anyway, Lux was a burst caster. Her goal was to kill the backlines right away at the start of the fight. Ahri is the opposite. Ahri is a damage over time caster, and this is kind of weird because that's not really how she's played in actual League of Legends, but that's her role in this particular game. What she does is she fires out her, basically her Q skill from League of Legends, her Orb of Deception I think is the formal name. She fires that out and it goes in a straight line, and then it'll deal damage and come back to her. And every time that she casts, she will fire out an additional orb. So like on the first pass, she fires 1 orb, but when she casts the second time, she'll fire 2 orbs. And when she casts the third time, she'll fire 3 orbs. So she keeps getting stronger and stronger as the fight goes on. If you watch closely, you can kind of see this, but Zeri puts so much, you know, shiny garbage on the screen, it can be a little bit tricky to see that. So yeah, Ahri gets stronger over time, and she actually works best if you are running kind of like a stall comp. Somewhat like those more visual garbage from Zeri here. It's kind of like those stall comps that people would build with innovator boards in set 6, the base version of set 6, where like the goal was just to stall out the fights, have Seraphine keep healing, Janna keep healing, Orianna keep healing, and then just like as the fights go on, eventually you just like wear down the other team, and that's kind of how she goes in this set as well. At least I believe that that's kind of how she's optimally played. It's still super early and we'll have to figure this out. I didn't see any items I particularly liked for Zeri, so I decided to take a frontline item. I really wanted the Warmogs, but it got snapped up at like the last second before it came over here to me. I do have an item remover, but I don't really see any way to use it at the moment. And like right now, I know exactly what I'm going to play. It's going to be Lucky 44. So I just have to position for this. They have Prismatic Knife's Edge. And they have a 2-star Zeri. So that's the whole thing, is they just got a 2-star Zeri I have to worry about. So I'm hoping that I can deal with that. I'm going to try to shift to the other side. I have no idea if that actually works or not against Zeri. But hey, I figure it's better to be on the opposite side from Zeri. Let's see if Morg can get her ult off. Morg's ult is, and she actually does. Morg got off a nice ultimate. Then Braum gets off a nice ultimate. So we get the CC chain rolling on that other Zeri over there. And it looks like we're able, to CC our way through this fight. And even though the person has a 2-star Zeri, we're able to knock them out. So that is a great sign, and we're down to just 3 of us in the lobby. The bad news is I'm guaranteed to hit Gamiola, and they're on 7 Arcanists. And it's just, I don't know that I can survive against that Victor. That Victor is going to do so... Oh, no, never mind. 8 Arcanists, so... Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a 2-star Victor with 8 Arcanists. So, yeah, and Jeweled Gauntlet. So that ult is probably going to do, like, 3,000 damage to everyone that it hits. So, you just have to hope that I'm not going to hit. I do reposition Zeri. If you notice, I was able to reposition away from the Radiant Zephyr. But the question is, can I get to that Victor before his ult murders everyone? And the answer is no. No, I was not able to do that. So yeah, everyone is just dead off that initial Victor cast, and it's very hard to deal with Victor when he just murders the entire board instantly on his first cast. It's pretty hard to get 8 Arcanists plus 2-star Victor with nearly perfect items. I wouldn't say those are perfect because I think he has a static shiv on there, but those are nearly perfect items for Victor. I also need to highlight the new unit in this set with which Gamiola is playing. This person is running Soko, who is the character created for the Netflix show Arcane, who was just added, who is not a champion in League of Legends, was created specifically for Teamfight Tactics. And what he does is he is a scholar, and he has the kind of two things. His actual ability is he injects people on your team that gives them, I believe it gives them a full health refill, or it gives them 100% extra health. I have the cheat sheet here. I'm just gonna look it up real quick to see. He injects someone on the team. It grants them, it restores them to maximum health, gives them 100% extra attack speed, and also immune to crowd control. But they then die after 8 seconds. So, yeah, as it says, kind of an unstable mix right there. I think that's the name of the ability. So that's kind of the first thing he does, is he'll heal one unit back to full, give them like a massive attack speed bonus, and then, but then they die after 8 seconds. By the way, I thought for sure I would win this fight, but wow, that Bloodthirster on Jinx. Holy cow. Okay, so that was a little bit annoying. I thought for sure I was going to win that. Oh well. And note that, by the way, I do not know who I'm going to hit in the next round. I actually could hit either of these players. So I decide, well, since I might be up against Gamiola, I probably should level to 9 here. That will allow me to put Senna in. That will give me a rank of the Socialite Spotlight. I didn't see, and by the way, it also gets me to 9 where I have much better odds to find the Zeri. By the way, there is Soko. The other thing he has is Mastermind as a trait. And what this does is it causes the 2 units standing in front of him to gain extra mana. So if you look at this, so I'm fighting the Ghost for Gamiola. Look how he doesn't have. He actually does not have Soko positioned next to the Victor. And by the way, this fight goes great. We actually managed to kill Victor before he casts. I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic. But it's a ghost round. I was like, oh, really? Really? The one time I beat this person, it's a ghost round? Well, at least they will do the courtesy of knocking the other person out for me. But hey, now that prismatic augment that this person has is useless, because I mean, it's not like you need to check to see who you're going to be up against. You know who you're going to be up against at this stage of the game. But I still have that Radiant Zephyr to dodge. Anyway, so Soko's other thing that he does is he grants extra mana to the people who are standing in front of him. This is the Mastermind trait. At the start of the combat, the Mastermind grants the 2 allies directly in front of him a certain amount of mana. Right now, I believe it's like 40 mana or something like that. They've been playing around with this in patches. So like, look at Victor. Look at how much extra mana he gets from Soko. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. That means that the Victor is just going to start the fight with like, I don't know how much mana, like 80 mana, because he's got the, because he's got that, the Soko bonus, plus he's got the, wow, I'm struggling with the name here. He's got the Spear of Shojin, yes, so that his auto attacks grant extra mana. So yeah, I actually do kill the Soko that round, but it's not enough, unfortunately. I am going to go ahead and grab this Dragon's Claw, because what does that provide? Magic resistance. I figure maybe this will help my tank line survive a little bit longer. It's not like there were any other items there that looked particularly great for me. So basically we're just rolling and trying to find Zeri. Unfortunately, the person I'm up against is unbelievably rich, because they've been win streaking ever since they hit that incredibly early 2-star Victor with very good items. But now they found 2-star Soko as well, and they got a blue buff that they just stuck on him. Although, you actually have to be a little bit careful. It's not always good to put blue buff from Soko, because he can just kill your whole he can kill his own team pretty quickly sometimes. Now, I noticed that the Radiant Zephyr was being pointed at Ari, so I decided that I would go ahead and just avoid that. I think that this person was expecting me to put the Zeri on the Spotlight, but I decided I would not do that, because I didn't want it to get Zephyred out of the way. And yeah, I mean, the Victor just kills everything instantly. And I was like, well, the good news is I did find Zeri in the shop. So I've got a 2-star Zeri now. I think I've got a shot here now that I have 2-star Zeri. I just need to see. I don't think positioning is really going to do much of anything here. It's just the combination of Victor having the Shojin plus Soko giving all that additional mana at the start of the fight just means Victor gets his cast off incredibly fast. And then it's 8 Arcanist Victor with the Jeweled Gauntlet. I mean, he just wipes the entire board. So I'm going to try to reposition here at the last second. And I was like, did I manage to do this? Oh, that is the one unit I did not want to have get Zephyr. Managed to get my Zeri. So yeah, the fast finger is not quite fast enough, and I actually survived a little bit better this time around. I think that I win this fight if Zeri does not get Zephyr, but the problem is she did get Zephyr, and Victor gets off one last cast just as he's dying, that then kills the Zeri. So I was like, I legitimately think I could have beaten that board if I managed to dodge the Radiant Zephyr, but it's just hard to dodge that Zephyr round after round after round after round, and if you miss one time, you're probably dead. So, you know what? It's a good game. I'm pretty satisfied with this. That was a pretty crazy high roll, as you see some of the buggy stuff here. Oh, and by the way, we're finally going to get to see the augments on the endgame screen, which is nice. This is still very early on. A lot of stuff's going to change on the PBE, but looks like this should be a fun set. I'm looking forward to exploring it more in the days and weeks up ahead. So once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this early peek. Until next time, have a great week, and I'll see you guys again soon.